In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.
Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
I thought I saw something.
Did I lose you guys again? What?
Someone.
What's going on? What are you guys looking at? Abaddon eyes. That's what we call it. Everybody feels like they saw something out of the corner of their eyes or just felt like they were being watched. Happens to all of us. Just our imagination's messing with us.
Abaddon eyes.
You coming?
Joy, is it okay if I call you Joy?
Yes, yes.
It would be weird if you said, well, yeah, but that's not my name.
It would be weird.
So thank you again. A lot of thank yous to joining us. We really appreciate it. So
Thank you for having me.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So tell us, we're talking Hell House LLC II here, right?
Yes.
Tell us what got you to that role and what kind of preparation you had to do and those sorts of things. Let's get that out of the way, and then I want to talk about some weird stuff in the Hell House.
Okay. Well, I auditioned for it just like, as actors, we see the audition notices and we apply for it. And so I went in initially not knowing what it was, but
Right.
by the time I did get an audition, I had seen the first movie and I thought, oh gosh, I really, really like these guys. This is just done well and it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And then the way that it worked was there's the initial audition, and then you have a couple of callbacks after that as they narrow people down.
Sure.
And so that is how it all worked out. Playing Molly was really interesting as well because to play a character that is so frightened,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
afraid, so naive, but like in the very gritty world of horror,
Right.
where you have so many characters who are kind of fearless and go in anyway. So to play a role like that was interesting for me because I had to really think about, you couldn't just make her one level scared the whole time. Especially we typically shoot out of order.
Mhm.
So I was always thinking, okay, what just happened? Because once Molly starts running and screaming, she kind of doesn't stop.
That's right.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So building in levels there and thinking about just creating that arc through
Yeah.
it was definitely something I thought a lot about.
I thought
So.
Molly was probably the smartest one because she didn't want to go in.
The only one,
That's what I'm
right?
saying. Yeah. Everybody else is like, heck yeah, let's go in the haunted house. You were like, no, thank you. I'm good. Yeah. And then you finally get drugged in. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so tell me what it's like to have a bag over your head as a clown is threatening you.
It's not the most ideal of circumstances, that
Okay.
is for sure,
That's fair.
but
Yeah.
we go along with it,
Sure.
clowns, not my favorite thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that they did a really good job of tapping into the fear of clowns on this thing.
Gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you know about like the lore or the world that's being built within these movies, what do you know about it? Like that you could reflect on for your character or just you in general going in?
You mean like what did I know before
Yes.
when I had
Well,
um
either going in or I'm assuming Molly is still trapped in the house or at least in the lake of fire at this point. But
yes.
yeah, what did you know and maybe what did you find out while you were making it?
Well, I think that setting up something where the gates of hell are being opened
Yeah.
is a pretty
Yeah.
intense thing. And I think also something like that's the beauty of horror, right? They create these worlds that you kind of buy into, and especially in Molly's case, like she's an investigative journalist. She wants to sit and do her research at a computer, and
Right.
instead she's pulled into this supernatural thing. Um, and so I mean, I think that, going into it, we find out that they've been sent some material,
Mhm.
right? That
Mhm.
talking about that the malfunction was not really a malfunction, that there's something there.
Right.
But I don't know that anyone believes that it's going to be something so freaky as it ends up being, except maybe Molly. And is that because she really thinks that there are demons downstairs in this
Yeah.
place, or is she just like, why would you do this, what's the point
Yeah.
type?
Yeah. I don't understand why people keep going in the basement.
I
Just
did not like being in there.
Oh, I
Is
don't
a
doubt that. Yeah. Well, that was another thing I was going to ask you, like the haunted house or whatever you want to call it that you guys actually filmed in. I mean, how scary was the thing in reality?
it was pretty intense in
Yeah.
there, and I, as someone who doesn't like clowns, it was a very interesting thing because I don't know how much spoiler you want to get into, but Molly has a pretty intense interaction with a clown
Uh huh.
base.
Uh huh.
Right. And so I didn't want to run through that before. I
Yeah.
didn't want to really see it before. I didn't love being down in the basement. It is as cold and damp and spooky as it
As it
looks.
looks.
And so kind of just got into place and then opened my eyes when they called action. And so got to have that real experience sort of there of that.
So a lot of that we see in your face is like real because it's the first time you're seeing these things.
Yes, I mean, I don't know what take
Yeah.
made it
Yeah.
do
Sure.
it,
Sure. Sure.
but yeah, and they were all good sports of letting me have that moment of really, seeing the clown there because I couldn't stand looking at that thing. That
Yeah.
clown mask there was never a moment where I was like, oh, there it is. It was always uncomfortable. It was always very, very
It's
creepy.
always
So
jarring. You turn around and there's a
yes,
clown there. Yeah.
yeah.
So in talking to Steven, he told us that his favorite movie is The Exorcist. And there's a part in The Exorcist where the director actually would fire a gun on the set to get real reactions from people. So that's the first thing I thought of when you said you didn't want to see anything and you wanted to actually react.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, luckily Stephen didn't do anything like that
That's
to us.
good. That's great.
But
So the other thing he told us is that his shooting schedule, I mean, we're talking like 14, 15 days, right?
yeah, I think people don't realize how quickly you kind of get in and out with
Yeah.
indie films,
Yeah.
because we hear about Hollywood blockbusters and they have the luxury of time, and we're there kind of from day one. We are running and screaming,
Right.
basically.
Right. I mean, you become almost like crew at a certain point, I would imagine, because it's all hands on deck, I would think.
Yeah, you're starting from very early in the morning. The days are exhausting and long, and you're shooting out of order, so
Yeah.
you were kind of really have to live in the world of it to keep it straight in your mind. Which room we run to now? What happened now? Was the clown here? Was he there?
Yeah.
Did this happen? Did that happen? So
Yeah.
it really does. It's a really amazing experience to be on a location, kind of all living together in this
Mhm.
space, all creating this thing. So
So, I know that you've done a few other things, one of which was Happy, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
But is this the only time you've died in a movie? Is this the most gruesome way you've died in a movie?
Have I think this is for sure the most gruesome. This is
Sure.
the most gruesome. I think this might be. Is this the only? I think so. I think
Yeah.
this is the only time I've died in a movie. Yeah,
Wonderful.
which
Wonderful.
itself is an interesting acting experience because it becomes very technical. Because you have the way that it worked was I had to spit out a lot of blood, right? And I
Yeah.
had to be stabbed. And
Yeah.
so it was kind of very technical of almost counting in my head how long it would take and as it dribbles out and to make that very gross moment.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I've never really thought about having to count how long it takes for blood to get from here to my mouth. Yeah,
Yep.
that's fascinating.
Yeah.
We're learning something every day here. It's wonderful.
Well, it was very, very sweet and chocolatey, and I kept
Oh,
getting this mouthful of this syrup that the one of the, I guess, phantom ghost creatures
sure.
in the draped in the thing would,
Yeah.
like put in my mouth, and then it would just spit it out a little at a time.
That's crazy. Yeah. So it was chocolatey.
It was chocolate. It was, for my taste, a little too sweet, but she
Gotcha.
said people like it.
Sure.
So,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. People sitting around drinking the blood all the time. It's great. Yeah.
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 So
You- So, tell me how it was to work with, number one, how was it to work with Stephen? And were you allowed to kind of improvise some of your things, or some of the takes, or was it pretty well scripted?
it was a bit of both. Steven is wonderful
Yeah.
because he really uh he knows the movie he wants to make, but he lets the actors create it as well, if
Right.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
and so it was very scripted, but there was also room for improv, room for
Hmm.
putting your own spin on things.
Hmm.
Um, and I think one day we got a page of script at like, I want to say like 6 o'clock that morning, the day of shooting. He's
Yeah.
like, here you go, more lines. So it's
Wow.
very, like, we had to really know who the characters were and bringing that to life. But he was terrific, really, just
Yeah.
just the loveliest person and so smart to work with,
Yeah.
like he really gets it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would imagine with a 14, 15 days shooting schedule, you don't have a lot of time for improvisation. Um,
Right. Yeah.
did I see that you were part of UCB at one point?
Yes, yeah, I did. I did the full improv training
Yeah.
track from that. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it there in New York or California or
In
where?
New York.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And tell me about that. Like maybe some of the people you worked with there.
Oh, well, I just took classes there,
Oh,
so I
okay.
was never
I
like
got you.
on the stage
I
there.
got you.
But I did have some really interesting teachers there who were working actors and people on a lot of commercials and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, and that improv background was something that I was able to bring kind of to anything that I'm working on, because it gives you
Yeah.
that bit of liveliness to
Yeah,
it.
I think people often underestimate how valuable something like improv training is.
For sure.
Just being able
Yeah.
to think on your feet, when there's a camera pointed at you. I think that's probably a big part of it right there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and I think for, a lot of actors come out of acting school and you can be a little rigid in your
sure.
technique, and improv kinda loosens that up,
Well,
you know?
not everything's Shakespeare either. I mean,
Very
so
well,
yeah, you
not
sometimes you have to
every
react to stuff. Um,
absolutely.
okay, so uh, the other person I wanted to ask you about working with was Tully. So, did you have a lot of interaction with him?
With Tully,
Yeah.
the um, not much
Okay.
really, just kind of that basically that scene in the dining room
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Tully has her very unfortunate end to
Sure.
everything.
Sure.
Um, but I thought he did such a great job,
Oh, he's great.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
bringing across such that creepy factor to
Yeah.
everything.
He's creepy. All right. So here is the part of the show where we start asking you for stuff you maybe can't say. Okay.
Okay.
So what I want to know is, have you seen the movies past the second one? Have you seen 3 and 4?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think's going on there? I know that's a little broad, but we have our theories, and that's basically what this show is about, right? Is the theories of the lore and the world that's being built. We think that number one, all of you guys are just fodder for the Lake of Fire, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but it does also seem like people are held there, or their spirits are held there in the
Mhm.
house. Okay,
Yeah.
so it. Why do you think some of them get to go and some of them don't? Are they just kind of waiting it out, or what do you? Why do some of them go to hell and some of them stick around?
Well, I
And any answer is the right answer.
I think I would say that they all go to hell, but maybe some are a bit more useful than
Okay,
others,
yeah,
like some
that's
are
fair.
like the Jessica Fox character, she is then out similar to Sarah Havel
Yeah,
before, right?
yeah,
Like sort of luring people back in.
right.
There's this lure to Hell House and so yeah, I don't think anyone officially leaves because
Okay,
they're
okay.
back.
It's like a roach
Yeah.
motel. You check in, but you can't
Yeah.
leave. Yeah, gotcha.
There you go.
Okay. So what else do you have coming up? Is there anything that we're going to see you in soon?
Well, I have a couple of films that are available streaming.
Okay.
Have been at film festivals, and so that's pretty exciting. But the actors' strike just finished,
Sure.
so it's been very
Yeah.
slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hoping for a busier 2024,
Sure.
definitely. But
So
um,
what are the titles that are out there streaming?
well, one of them is called The Improviser.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it actually, if you like horror, it
Yeah.
kind of is pretty interesting in that because it's a very dark horror-esque type of film that takes place in the New York comedy world.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, so if speaking of improv, that definitely comes up a lot there.
Yeah.
And so that had gone to a lot of film festivals, and then it's on a whole bunch of platforms now.
Okay.
And then uh, another film by those same creators of that is a short horror film called Karen, which also went to a lot of film festivals, and that's also available now. And that one has a Christmas time theme for it,
Okay.
so
Okay.
kind of in.
Tell me, so one of the pictures I saw of you, you're holding a golden duck's foot, is what it looks like. Some sort of
Oh yeah.
award that looks like a golden. Tell us about that.
That I had won for uh, Karen
Okay.
actually,
Yeah.
and so that was uh, at a small horror film festival here in New York, and that I won Scream Queen for
Okay.
it. So that was their version of Best Actress.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was very exciting. And it was interesting because actually at that festival, when I went there, people seemed to, a few people seemed to kind of know who I was. And I didn't really think anything of it because,
Right.
at these things, people are very friendly. And then it was afterwards when people messaged me, like on Instagram, I guess they didn't say it in person, but saying that they were Hell House fans. And so that
That's
was pretty interesting, just how far reaching it's
so.
been.
How often does that happen to you? Do you get recognized for that a lot?
I wouldn't say a lot,
Yeah.
but it has happened a couple of times where
Yeah.
someone did reach out. Somebody um, uh, like contacted my parents. A few people
Oh
that
my
they're like, "Oh,
God.
we saw Joy on this movie. It's amazing." I've
Oh
a lot of
no.
horror fans out there. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah,
it's
but
great."
do you want horror fans contacting your parents? I mean, that just seems that seems
They
rough.
knew them. They knew them, so
Oh,
it was.
okay. Oh, thank God.
But I wouldn't have known that they were, like, watching it. But I have gotten some, people reach out on social media sometimes,
Oh, I'm sure.
and that's always, that's very nice,
Some
so
unique interactions, I would imagine.
yes.
Sure.
Sometimes I feel bad because I don't always see them until, like, months later that
Yeah.
someone has said something, it's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
thanks."
So, okay. So now I want to ask you about. There's a reel out there of you doing different characters, and
Okay. Yes.
the last character seems to be an old man.
Yes.
Can you tell me where that came from and maybe the inspiration for that? Because I'm going to tell you what I think it is.
Okay, well, I can tell you that entire reel is,
Okay.
so several years ago, I had been cast in a whole bunch of projects, and then, as happens, they fell apart one
Oh,
by one.
yeah.
And so I decided that that's not fair, right? I can't make a career based on other people always giving it. So I made
Sure.
my own film, and that was called Wild Woman, and it's a mockumentary comedy.
Yeah.
It went to a lot of film festivals, and I played 13 different characters in it,
That's
and so that is Wild Woman that you saw clips
so.
of.
And Casey pointed this out to me at the end. The old man looks very much like Grandpa from the Texas Chainsaw. And so
If you have not seen that movie, it would
You-
amaze me.
you did
because
it. You-
It was
spot
a
on.
dead ringer. I said that is Grandpa from Texas Chainsaw
Oh, yeah.
Massacre.
yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah, you should watch that,
Was
yeah.
it was bizarre.
So
How
how do
close it was.
you play 13 characters? Is it just like, are you shooting for days, or you just do one change, do another one change? How does that work?
Well, it depended. So in that case, because there was such heavy special effects makeup, to make me into a grandpa, for
Yeah,
example,
sure.
um, and all of the different characters, because even when it's not so obvious, whether it's wigs or like fake noses, like there's quite a lot that went into each one.
Uh-huh.
So it would be maybe one or two each day or so. So yeah, just because it would take 4 hours to get into makeup sometimes.
How long
So.
is this? How long is this Wild Woman?
Wild Woman was 12 minutes long.
Holy crap! So it's 12 minutes, and it takes you 4 hours for each character, and you did 13 characters.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It was a big undertaking for sure.
That is some true dedication there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's even.
Yeah. Well.
I mean, that seems like a lot more than just having to eat blood chocolate.
Yeah. It is definitely more.
Sure.
than that.
Sure.
But it's so funny because that one I told this story that I wanted to tell, as a mockumentary through
Mhm.
all of these different characters that kind of had these interview segments. And then later on, years later was Hell House. And a friend said to me, "Oh, so do you just really like found footage?" And I never thought of it that way, but apparently, I guess so.
There you go. You're drawn to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's say there was a fifth movie made. Are you on board if they need you?
Oh my gosh, yes,
Yeah.
of
Okay.
course. It was so wonderful working with Stephen and Joe, and I'm kind of always saying to them, like, I think the reason I probably came back for the third movie, even as little as my character
Sure.
did come back, was probably because I bothered Joe enough to be like, "Put me in the movie, make another one. Can I be in it? Can I be in it? Don't forget, don't forget."
We're gonna. I think we're talking to Joe on Friday, so
Oh, nice.
yeah, I'll let him know that you want to be part of 5, please.
Yes,
Just
put me back.
call your parents and let them know. Well, Joy, I thank you so much for joining us. It was fantastic to meet you. For you to set time aside was just wonderful.
Aw.
Is there anything you want to plug as far as stuff coming up, or you're going to be at the grocery store later, or what? Anything like that?
I just hope you got some good footage out of this
We did.
that was what you're looking for. So
Yeah. You got one more?
Well, I kind of wanted to, and we had talked about this before. The character Molly is that classic, and I don't know if Stephen Cognetti, he probably thinks about this, but you're that classic trope character who follows their friend to the bitter end.
yes.
Jessica, come hell or high water, she's going.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
you're the one that, I'm hesitant, I don't want to go. And that plays into me, and Mike brought it up, the chance of people possibly coming back, as far as,
Yeah.
I think they made it real clear, somebody like Molly and her
Mhm.
naivete
Mhm.
and her just that she could be scared very easily was really a power cell for the house. We enjoy,
Yeah.
those make the best guest is
Yes.
what it was.
Right.
And knowing that, how did that affect you playing that? Because right from the beginning that you're not making it out of this,
Mhm.
but
Right.
to make a memorable character, because I mean, when we did the review, the two folks that reviewed for the Boobays,
Mhm.
that you were one of the bigger kind of the highlights, because you made is a very memorable character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks.
We this and that's something I neglected to say. This is being kind of co-produced by a show on our network called Boobays, And all they do is they review horror movies. And the thing about Boobays is if your movie's an hour and a half, their show's going to be 2.5 hours. So they are very, very thorough as far as their reviews go, and they did cover you quite a bit. They were equally amazed and annoyed at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah. Well, I mean, the character's supposed to be that way,
He's supposed to be a little annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you did great.
Yeah, it's just that when we first started watching that character, I said, Molly, that's classic. Stephen is.
Yeah.
She's going to pay the bill for her friend's transgressions.
Yeah.
And to do it in a way where, out of all four, that's probably the most innocent character that has ever been involved. That's why I see that there could be something there, a follow-up to that, because that was a very unique character that was taken.
We were talking earlier about the comparison between that situation that he was talking about with you being like a cell that runs the house and Monsters, Inc. It seems like there's a natural crossover there. Your screams could power, all these little cities and stuff. So I think Disney's really missing out.
Then we said it was very strange. We said it was very strange because it's Sully and Tully.
That's right.
And we were wondering if there's a possible crossover there.
All right. Well, Joy, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. If we get down the road and we need to hear from your character, can we bother you again?
Please, I'm happy to chat with you again anytime.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Have a great night.
Thank you. Have a great night.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. You can find Abaddon Eyes exploring the Hell House LLC universe anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com.
I found the gateway, and it's glorious. Play us a song. Diana?
This has been a Rogue Media Network production. In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.